Hello, ladies and gentlemen. This is Ronald Moten on the Ronald Moten Show, coming at you once again as my team prepared to take you into 2014, addressing serious issues that affect Washington, D.C. and America. One of the things that I wanted to discuss today was a serious issue that so many people in my community were talking about over the last week because of recent legislation and moves by our city council and community leaders. Um, we feel as though, or should I say, the people I talk to feel as though that we have more initiative and more drive and focus on addressing issues of certain people, but nobody wants to touch the issues of African Americans in this city. And this is not a black-white thing per se in DC. It's just a choice of leadership that continues to neglect giving everybody a chance. And the thing that people were very, very upset about with the legislation that gave people, some people call them illegal immigrants or undocumented people, etc. I don't call them that. I call them people who've been given a second chance because we know in America, if you come to America illegally, then you are a felon. All right. So you have people who that I talked to throughout Washington D.C. In Ward 7 and 8 all last week, and we were talking about the fact that people who break the law coming here illegally are given voting rights and driver's licenses, and that's cool. But people who were born here and generations of family sacrifices of building this country up to make it a great country that it is, they're not given opportunity for jobs and second chances. They're not given opportunity for housing and second chances and start businesses and things of that nature. They're not built up to empower themselves. They're used and abused in this city. So the question was, if one group can get a second chance, why can't we? And I think that's a valid question. If we go and we fight for everybody in the nation's capital in Chicago and California and places like that, why aren't some of these same people fighting for our rights? It seems like everybody benefits from struggles of others, but we're not benefiting. Not just black people in America. There are a lot of people who are people seeking a second chance of all nationalities who are citizens but can't get a second chance. And then I have a couple of examples that I want to talk about. The African American Museum, where people had to do a protest to obtain some employment on the job site. African Americans working at the African American Museum that the president had a big press conference about. And this is a great thing because it's going to tell our heritages and things of that nature to the world. And a lot of people don't know how great we are. A lot of people don't know about the things that we have accomplished and brought to America and throughout the world. So that's a great thing. But how in the world do you have to do a protest to get Washingtonians, all blacks, to work at an African American museum? How is it that we can't have an African American to sculpture the statue of Martin Luther King? How is it that Homeland Security, where our president put $3.4 billion, $3.4 billion to build Homeland Security, and no African Americans, very few from Washington, D.C. were there before a protest, and right next door, it's right next door to Burry Farms, public housing. So no initiative to engage and filter those people into the workforce, who are African Americans, but people from everywhere else, people who are given a second chance, who come to our country, can work at these different locations, but we can't. This is a big problem. Another thing that was brought to my attention, walking throughout Ward 8. Now, those for you who don't know, Ward 8 is the poorest section of Washington, D.C. A lot of people live in poverty in this particular section. Dropout rate is astronomical. We still have a lot of people doing well there, but it's pretty bad for many. And we have some nonprofits doing great work there with limited resources for the amount of people they have to touch. And one of the things that was brought to my attention, and somebody asked me, and this didn't come from the nonprofit, I want to be clear, because we have a mayor who's very, very, very petty, and he will retaliate against anybody who speaks up and tells the truth. So I want to be clear, this did not come from any nonprofits who I'm about to bring up. But the person brought up, how in the hell does a Latino organization from Ward 1 come and do work and push out African American nonprofits. I'm talking about ones who have a stellar record of doing great things in the ward, and push them out. Now, we all know if you're going to be honest. Now, if you're not going to be honest and you're a hypocrite and you don't want to hear the truth, this is not for you. So just tune me out, okay? But if you want to be honest, we know whether you're black, white, or Latino, no matter what your nationality is, that no black organization from Ward 8 is going to go to Ward 1 and work with Latino children. And especially with the track record that some of the organizations have over there dealing with their people. So in Ward 8, far southeast, or Brenda Don, I mean not Brenda Donald Walker, I'm sorry, or the Parklands, where we have a great program that's run by Brenda Jones that does a phenomenal job working with families. But we have people coming from Ward 1, Latino organizations, working with people in Ward 8. Now, tell me where that makes sense. What type of message is that sending to our children when you have programs that do a great job and then somebody else comes and pushes them out when it's not needed? And this is the message that our one city, one hire mayor is doing. This is what his administration is pushing, and that's why this is not a black-white thing. This is a black man doing this to black people, and he has the nerve to be running off of his record. What record? Things in our city have gotten worse for African Americans. The unemployment in Ward 8 has gotten worse, and the thing is, what gets me is they keep talking about people don't have the skill sets. I ran for office in Ward 7, and I knocked on a lot of doors, and there were so many people who had master's degrees and things of that nature who could not obtain a job in Washington, D.C. We're not talking about people on welfare now. I'm talking about people who went to school, did everything right. I'm talking about the college students that are coming back home, that I pushed through college, telling them to do it the right way and you'll benefit. They can't even get a job in D.C. Can't even get a job, And then we empowering other people, but we're not addressing the people who need a second chance. This is some real talk. The crime rate is going up. It's going up for a reason. The shootings are going up for a reason. The murder rate has increased after going down for years, after the hard work that we all did in the community. Now we have a new mayor, and after his first term, now the murder rate is going up. While he's saying we live in a world-class city. While he's saying everything is getting better for 20-somethings, when we know the 20-year-olds that I talk to in the community, their life is hell in a lot of cases. Not because they're bad, because they have to do so much just to live a halfway decent life. We're not doing anything. I've ridden on the metro buses in the morning. I've ridden on the trains in the morning. I see who's going to work. And then I see who's going in line, to stand in line to get some type of assistance. But they don't want to be there. The majority of people don't want to be there. When we open up this new facility, vending facility outside of Homeland Security, why didn't we train some people to be entrepreneurs before it was open from these communities, so they can see that there's some hope, so we can create some success stories, and they can go back and show people when you work hard, there's prosperity, and show them that we're going to create opportunities for them, But, it's clear. I was at a press conference recently where after 20 years of me coming home and doing everything I'm supposed to do right, helping my community, help sending 160 children to college, helping conduct 40 truces with rival gangs and crews, more than 40 truces, and getting over 300 people employed over a 5-6 year period, and his spokesperson called me a felon. So if he calls me a felon, Ronald Moten a felon, what does that mean for all the other people? Matter of fact, his name was Pedro. That's crazy, isn't it? Out of all people, if he treats me like that, what does that say to all the people coming home, trying to get a second chance, and the door slammed in their face over and over again, and we expect them just to walk around and not do anything that's unproductive when they can't be productive? This is real. This is some real stuff, and we really have to address this. We want this to be a city for everybody. I love diversity. I don't want to live in impoverished communities. I want everybody to have a chance who wants to build themselves up to be able to build themselves up, to be able to stay in D.C., to be able to live a prosperous life from working hard. It's up to us to do this. And I'm asking you to get involved, to get engaged. This week uh, at Union Temple Church on Saturday, the 14th, from 4 to 7 p.m., I encourage you all to come out. Come out. Come out. Matter of fact, I can give you a whole day of things that are going on that day. I believe it's at 1 o'clock. The Legend of Disco Dan is being shown. I'm going to be there. I'm in that documentary and showing how D.C. has changed over the last 20 years. Then you go to Union Temple, right? And from 4 to 7, and we're going to discuss this. Whether you agree with me or not, you can come out and have your voice be, let your voice be heard, because people are going to be listening, and it's going to be great dialogue. I think one council member in Canada has already confirmed, Tommy Wells, or I've talked to somebody in his office about him coming to hear what's going on, and I suggest if you're running for office, I think you better be there. And then after that, we're going to go to the convention center and get a taste of the old DC with the Madness Shop. Having a boxing match, having boxing matches at the Washington Convention Center that night. And you know, it's a full day where you can come and see the diversity of DC when it's working in a positive way, where people come together to address their concerns, and nothing wrong with a little friction, because that's how we make diamonds. So we don't always have to agree, but our hearts have to be pure about helping all people, where everybody can come together. Because I don't see all these people who benefit from our labor and us fighting for everybody to have all these chances, coming to fight for the population and people that I'm talking about. And that includes our leaders that we put in office. You know, they have let us down. And it's time for us to stand up. If you don't stand up and do something, don't come crying at me. When you see me and there's a problem in the community, get ready to put your boots on the ground, because we got a movement going on. We got a movement going on. It ain't about Ronald Moten. It's about the people. It's about all people. Because if you got one group of people not happy in this city, it's going to make it bad for another or other groups of people in this city. You know, that's how God works. Karma comes back around. And if you think you're just going to put your foot on a group of people's throat and don't give them a chance and walk around like it's nothing, I mean, I don't have no power over that, but God does. So let's all come together. Let's address this. Let's get involved. And like I said, this is not just in D.C. This is going on in Philly. This is going on in California. This is going on in Chicago. And then you got people going to Chicago, black leadership, talking about, I'm going there to bring awareness to the problem. Everybody in America knows about the shootings in Chicago. But what are we going to do to solve the problem? What are we going to do with the economics? What are we going to do about the families, bringing families and things back together? This is what we're here to address. And we're going to talk more about this. Like I said, I'm just getting this show cranked up. We're going to have a more intense show with guests and everything when the new year starts. But I couldn't wait till the new year to start talking about the issues. So I thank you for joining me. I ask you to go and tell other people about my show. And, man, if you got anything that you want to get to me, follow me on the Ron Moten Show on Twitter, the Ron Moten fan page. Ron Moten Show fan page, Ronald Moten on Facebook. And we're going to get back at you. All right, you can email me on the other side media at yahoo.com as well. Now, we have to come together. We have to come together. We all have to work together to make this a great place for everybody. And then everybody can be happy. God bless.